I actually really like Calico Jack, and I will die on this hill. Okay, so we all know Calico Jack as an asshole, and we only see him behave this way in this one episode. And to be fair, in this episode, when Jack is around, Edward is also a bit of an asshole. So it is possible that, similar to Ed, Jack is only like this around Ed, and we don't know how he behaves when he's not around Ed. It could be like, like bros becoming bros only when they're around each other kind of thing. And we know that Jack cares for Ed, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have come to the Revenge to save him in the first place. And yes, he is an asshole to Steed, but keep in mind that everything he had heard about Steed before arriving on the Revenge was told to him by Izzy Hans, who we know doesn't have the best opinion of Steed. So he arrived on the Revenge heavily biased against Steed, knowing that he is doing something negative, in his opinion, to Ed's brain, and he wants to save his buddy from that situation, especially because the British are coming. Also, he has this massive burn scar on his arm, which I suspect may have been from the time he saved Blackbeard's life on Blind Man's Cove. And having such visible evidence of this act that Jack did for Ed makes Ed feel like he's morally obliged to kind of take his side and help it, because this man saved his life and there's this like giant scar on his arm, like he was permanently damaged because of him, that he feels he needs to take his side because it'd be wrong not to, because of everything that he had done for him. And in the pissing scene, when he's kind of like poking Steed a little bit, he's probably trying to understand a little bit what kind of person Steed is, because he doesn't really know him. All he knows about him is what Izzy told him. And he is jealous. He is very jealous of the relationship that Steed and Ed have, and it's quite obvious in the way that he is extra in the way he does things. Like, he's not a good person, but I feel that with a little bit of effort, it's really easy to empathize with his motives. And he tries to get the crew involved in his shenanigans as well. And right before leaving the ship with Ed, which he did in a jackass way, but it was his goal all along, he also asked if anyone wanted to come with them, because he knew the British were coming and he wanted to save as many as he could. So he's an ass, but he's probably only an ass around Ed, and everything he does in that episode is for Ed's sake, to save his friend.